So are we all set? Looks like we are. I think it's a full house. A warm welcome it is, ladies and gentlemen. A very good evening to all of you. And welcome it is to the Economic Times Innovation Awards 2019 in partnership with SAP. I'm Riaz Basha and I will be your host for this evening. As I stand here today to felicitate India's most innovative firms, I'm reminded of this legendary quote from Victor Hugo: there is only one thing stronger than all the armies of the world, and that is an idea whose time has come. Today, India is a hotbed of idea, and innovations are sprouting all over, both in the form of startups and disruptive changes in established firms. Besides adding customer value, innovative businesses and practices are solving complex problems and creating new opportunities for firms. This evening, we will celebrate 10 exceptional companies. When we launched the awards process with our knowledge partner BCG, we received 250 nominations from 160 companies. Could we have a round of applause just for that? These were filtered and shortlisted before being handed over to our esteemed jury for the final selection. And I'd like to thank the members of our jury who helped us pick tonight's winners. Without further ado, their names as follows, and I would request you to applaud again. Harsh Goenka, RPG Enterprises. Himanshu Kapania, Aditya Birla Management Corp. Venuka Ramnath, Multiples Alternate Asset Management. Sumant Sinha, Renew Power. Ashok Jhunjhunwala, IIT Madras. Vineet Nair, Sampark Foundation. Indu Shahani, ISD and ISME. Deepak Gupta, Kotak Mahindra Bank, and Vikram Limaye, NSE. A collective round of applause, perhaps one more time. We'd also like to thank our study partner, BCG, and a special thanks to our sponsor, SAP. A round of applause for them as well, please. Well, as we proceed through the evening, please use the hashtag ET Innovation Awards. You could see that on top, to post updates, selfies, or anything else connected to the awards tonight. We're also live on our Facebook page at ET Innovation Awards. Okay, so are we ready? Can I hear a louder yes? Are we ready? Yes. Okay, so to kick things off and the proceedings, may I please call on stage Raj Jain, the CEO of Bennett Coleman, to please say a few words.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You'll have to bear with me to read my inaugural address because we are just print guys. I just prefer reading out of a paper rather than out of a screen. So just bear with me for a few minutes. So let me welcome you all to the inaugural edition of Economic Times Innovation Awards 2019. Your presence here tonight is a testimony to the growing need of rewarding the best innovative practices within corporate India. We at Economic Times are proud to be associated with this initiative and would like to thank SAP for making this possible. Our desire and ability to improve business as usual brought us from our nomadic existence to comforts of farming and societal living. In doing so, innovation has been key in survival and progress of humankind. Innovation has led us from Stone Age to Industrial Age and is now propelling us to exciting frontiers of the Fourth Industrial Revolution. The speed and extent to which societies and businesses have adopted imaginative practices has often been the difference between success and downfall. Corporate history is also strewn with examples we can learn from. Pioneers such as Kodak and BlackBerry were toppled from their positions as market leaders due to missing on continual innovation, while companies such as Amazon and Apple continue to ride on the success of their innovative offerings. These companies themselves are being challenged now by smaller and more agile innovators. Every organization agrees innovation is essential for sustained growth. So why is it that only a few succeed? In our opinion, organizations need three basic enablers to promote an ecosystem conducive to innovation. First and foremost is to inculcate and promote a culture of creative or imaginative thinking. To be innovative, one needs to be creative, and nothing kills creativity like the fear of being wrong or laughed at for a new idea. David Ogilvy went a step further when he said, "The best ideas come as jokes, so make your thinking as funny as possible." The second enabler is diversity in team composition. Innovative thinking thrives in diverse yet constructive environment. Diversity shouldn't be looked at only from a demographic lens, but also from psychological aspects such as personality and value systems. On a personal level, my best hour of the month is my reverse mentoring session with a 28-year-old bright young man from our office. He teaches me all about mobile commerce, payments, tips to save money on the net, and download movies for free, something which directly competes with our currently paid TV and OTT business. The final enabler is for leaders and employees to learn from the outside. Companies often turn to competition or peers within industry to emulate and experiment certain ideas. Companies, however, should also seek insights and inspiration from other industries and sciences such as physics, sociology, or cognitive sciences, and not to forget the lessons from our Mother Nature. I believe if an organization can imbibe these enablers, it'll be at the forefront of sustained innovation. Tonight we gather here to felicitate few such organizations. My heartiest congratulations to all the winners and all the participants. To conclude, I'd like to thank everyone who's been a part of this initiative and hope these awards will inspire and encourage Indian business to march ahead on the path of impactful innovation and resultant value creation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Raj, for your welcome address. Really appreciate it. Please enjoy the rest of the evening along with us. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our keynote speaker for the evening has been playing a key role in catalyzing economic development across the country. May I request the CEO of Niti Aayog, Amitabh Kant, to please deliver the keynote address for us.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, unlike Raj, I do not have the benefit of either the print or the screen, so please bear with me. Ladies and gentlemen, India is growing at about 7% plus, but the challenge for us is really to grow at higher rates of 9 to 10% per annum, year after year, for 3 decades or more, to be able to lift a very, very young population above the poverty line. Our average age is 29. We're the youngest country in the world. And to be able to grow at those rates, to my mind, many people talk about manufacturing, that your manufacturing has to grow from 17 to 25%. But to my mind, it's not possible to do it without design and without innovation. It's just not feasible to grow. And no country in the world post-World War II has been able to do it without innovation. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, if India is to grow at high rates with a very young population, innovation has to be the key driver. The government has tried to put several building blocks for this together. The Make in India, the Startup India, a new strategy for artificial intelligence called Artificial Intelligence for All, the Atal Tinkering Labs, But my belief is that the government at best can be a facilitator, it can be the catalyst, and real innovation and design to make India grow at high rates has to be driven by the private sector of India. The Silicon Valley has always been very innovative. It's done unique things. It's driving innovation of driverless cars. It's done huge amount of innovation for weapons and arms. But it is confronted with very few challenges. Most of the challenges are in India here. The challenge of providing water, of recycling water, the challenge of sustainable development, the challenge of converting waste into energy, the challenge of being able to make flyovers in 45 days instead of 5 years that we take. These are truly the challenges of India, but these are also the challenges of the developing world. And if India is able to find solutions to many of these problems, actually India will be finding a solution not for the 1.3 billion people of India, but for the 7.5 billion people of the world who will be moving from poverty to middle class in the next 2 decades. And that, to my mind, is really the big challenge for India. Because India's urbanization process has just begun. The process of urbanization has ended across America, it's ended across Europe, it's nearing its completion in China. But in India, every minute, there are 30 Indians who are moving from rural areas to urban areas. If you go by the latest McKinsey study, by 2050, India will see 700 million Indians getting into the process of urbanization. And that means that we'll do more urbanization than what in the next 5 decades, we'll do more urbanization than what we've done in the last 5,000 years. And the challenge for India is really to create two and a half Americas in a far more innovative and sustainable manner. When America urbanized, when Europe urbanized, land, gas, and water were all cheaply available. These are all scarce commodities. And therefore, many of these lessons of innovation, of how to recycle water, how to recycle waste, all have to be generated from India. And if we can create innovations in this real world, you will be actually innovating for the entire world. And in many ways, India has demonstrated this in several ways. Quite often, we do not realize the unique ability of India to combine innovation, entrepreneurship, and skills to actually do innovation for the rest of the world. Many of us are not aware that Microsoft's Bing was innovated here, John Deere's 60 HP tractor was innovated here for the world, that GE does almost close to 50% of its engineering and innovation for wide-bodied aircrafts from India, and SAP's all its innovation for the fashion world, and SAP's software is utilized by all the top fashion legends of the world, is all innovated in India. That Samsung's 3G, 4G, and now 5G innovation is all being done from India. I was pleasantly surprised. I had, about 2 weeks back, gone to Shell's new R&D facility in Bangalore, that they're converting waste into diesel and petrol, Indian waste into diesel and petrol, which they say is more advanced than BS6. And they are commercializing that technology. And last week I went to the John F. Welch Center, which GE has done, which the kind of innovation which GE does in India for the rest of the world is really amazing. And therefore, India is truly an innovation factory for quite a lot of frugal engineering for the world. And therefore, my view is that while India quite often gets into the sunset industries, and once it gets into the sunset industries, it becomes very difficult to penetrate global markets because you're too late in the day, and Indian businesses then find it very difficult to penetrate. And therefore, it's very important that we get into sunrise areas of growth. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you that we are in the midst of one of the biggest global disruptions that is taking place across the world. The world of energy is radically transforming. The world of mobility is radically transforming. The world of batteries is transforming. The world of storage is transforming. And all these transformations will transform the world like it has never been done before. And India's huge advantage is that in many of these areas, just to give you the example of electric vehicles, we just have 20 vehicles per 1,000 people, whereas America has 900 vehicles per 1,000 people. Europe has 800 vehicles per 1,000 people. And therefore, we do not have legacy issues. The level of destruction in America and Europe will be enormous, whereas you can easily transit into a sharing, connected, and a clean future of mobility. And therefore, the size and scale which India offers, the ability to innovate which India offers with that size and scale, no other country in the world has. In India, 74% of the vehicles right now are two-wheelers. Another 10% are three-wheelers. And therefore, to my mind, the challenge is really about how do we move as the world moves from 2,000 combustion vehicle parts to 20 parts. How do we become the manufacturing center for the rest of the world? And how do we innovate in that? And how do we actually innovate to enable batteries to be manufactured here? Many people think that we do not have nickel, we do not have cobalt, we do not have lithium, and therefore we cannot manufacture battery. But let me assure you that 81% of the value is in manufacturing till fuel cells. And actually, raw materials account for just 19% of the value. And therefore, there's a huge opportunity to manufacture. And therefore, I was really pleased when several of the renewable energies were listed here, because they are the ones who are really transforming the world. And they are spearheading innovation. And much of that disruption is happening on account of a huge ecosystem that has been built up in India in terms of the startups, in terms of really moving the levers on our patent laws. It used to take 7-8 years to get a patent. Now you can we are right on par with Japan and USA now. Huge work has been done on expediting patents. Today you can get a trademark in 1 month instead of the 14 months that used to take earlier. We've really completely electronic systems have been built up in the patent and trademark offices so that we become a very innovative nation. But look at what the world of startups has done in India. I mean, huge amount of disruption across areas of growth. There's a young girl who started with Culture Alley, started teaching, then realized that instead of Japanese and Mandarin, that there's demand for English. And taught 9 million Indians how to speak English in 1 year time, Pranshu Bhandari. Hello English. 9 million Indians. No school or college has been able to do this. Then I met another girl called Aditi who runs Imbibe in Rajasthan. And Imbibe tracks every single student longitudinally, latitudinally on how they are performing across subjects, maths, physics, chemistry, history, and then gives extra dosage of education to those who are lagging behind. It's like you're tracking Uber cars. And it's shown a radical improvement in learning outcomes across Rajasthan state. Look at young people, what they're doing. Look at a young team which started Ather Energy in Bangalore and came out just out of IIT Chennai, started Ather Scooters. Today, it has the potential to be the Tesla of the scooter world. It's a smart electric scooter. Or look at these young boys. I mean, look at what OYO has done. It's created more inventory than what Taj, Oberoi, ITC has taken 100 years to do in 5 years' time. Or look at how Ola has taken on the competition from right across the board. And now all these young startups are making forays into the international markets. Or look at Bajaj, for instance, in the world of education. Mark Zuckerberg has invested his personal money into that startup, and it's today a $5 billion startup. So ladies and gentlemen, the kind of energy, vibrancy, and dynamism you see in the Indian startup movement and the kind of disruption they are causing is unparalleled in the history of the world. It's unparalleled, totally unparalleled. And therefore, once in a while, you'll have teething issues, like you had with the angel tax. But let me also assure you that it's a very, very responsive government. It's a responsive government which found solutions in a very positive, it interacted with them, it found solutions, and the tax department and DIPP, everybody sat together and found solutions which were absolutely the correct solutions so that we can push the levers of domestic investment in startups. And therefore, across sectors, a vast amount of work has been done for innovation in India. The building blocks have all been laid through many of these things. But the important thing, to my mind, is that design must happen in India. Without design, it'll be very difficult to add value. It's not manufacturing which gives you value. It's the design which gives you value. And I think we need to push the limits on this. We need to push the limits on it because we've built up another set of building blocks which the world has never seen before. And that is, we are the only country in the world with 1 billion mobile, we're the only country in the world with 1 billion biometric, and we are the only country in the world with 1 billion bank account. When I started my career in Kerala, I was working with traditional fishermen, and my job was to take the returns of traditional fishermen from 25% to 80%. There was 18 different middlemen in the fisheries sector. We provided new crafts, which was new technology, which was fiberglass crafts. We provided outboard motors, which was new technology. We gave them new fishing nets. But to open a bank account was a nightmare. It used to take me 9 to 10 months to open a bank account and do a know your customer. Today, you walk into a bank, you do a know your customer in 55-second flats. 55-second flats. Well, that's a huge paradigm shift. We've today implementing over 500 schemes where we are putting money straight into the accounts of the beneficiaries, and we countries saving 90,000 crores simply because of the use of technology. Digital technology. We even pushed through a GST, which is one tax across the economy, all digital. The new Ayushman Bharat scheme, which is 500 million Indians, more than the population of USA, Mexico, Europe, an insurance of 5 lakh rupees is cashless, paperless, portable. I can be a Bihari working in Tamil Nadu. I can carry the scheme with me totally digitally. 99% of Indians pay direct tax online, and 95% of it is settled within a period of 3 months. So it's an amazing story of digital revolution. And unlike China, where all this data is owned by Baidu and Alibaba, and or Tencent, and unlike America, where it's opened by Google and Facebook, we've created public entities. And public entities like Aadhaar or GST or Ayushman Bharat, they'll have lots of data. And as it is being repeatedly said, India will become data rich before it actually becomes rich. But then this data is being utilized for a lot of more innovation. So Google Pay came in, you had Bheem coming in, you have many, many private sector coming in, Samsung Pay came in, and all of them are innovating. So we have created the highway on which private sector can come in and innovate. And we are putting out this data, a lot of that data out for academicians and researchers to do work. So India's created this huge India stack, which will enable a lot of data. And this data will enable us to do a lot of financial inclusion, because the days of physical banks and physical managers is all dead. There will be no physical banks and no physical managers. It'll all be data analytics. And therefore, to my mind, machine learning and artificial intelligence will be the next building block of India's growth story. And artificial intelligence is going to add close to $15.7 trillion to the global economy by 2030, which is actually more than the GDP of USA and China combined. That is the level, that is the huge possibility of what artificial intelligence will do. And a recent study says that by 2025, it'll add more than $1 trillion to India's GDP. And therefore, it's important that we use the power of the huge amount of data, and India is the only country which has done the building block for data. And we are able to use this data to drive innovation in a manner which can drive India's growth and prosperity and lift vast segments of our population. And this requires us to provide seed and fertilizer to our farmers based on weather and soil conditions on a real-time basis. It requires us to ensure that our billion people of India, we are able to look at their ECG, send it to a doctor, and give them a message on what is their health condition within 1 minute flat. And that is one of the startups Tricog is doing. It will enable you to, just 0.1% of India is actually on the net right now, just 125 million. 500 million people are those who are going to get into the net with regional languages. Another 525 million are going to get in with Hindi languages in the next 1 decade. And how we do natural language processing will be the biggest set of innovation that will happen in the world to drive India's growth. And this is all going to happen in front of our eyes in the next 5 to 6 years. India will be radically transformed. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, to my mind, we are in the midst of the biggest transformation that is happening across the world, across mobility, across energy, across storage, across natural language processing, across data, across artificial intelligence, across blockchain. And India needs to capture this opportunity. No civilization in the world has ever got this opportunity before to lift a huge segment of its population. And to my mind, this is the biggest social and economic phenomenon that's taking place across the world. That the population in India is getting younger and younger and will keep getting younger till 2042, whereas the population across the world will keep getting older and older. And this is a massive opportunity to use technology to leapfrog in the world. And therefore, the challenge is not about anything else. The challenge, you'll create jobs, you'll bring in equity only if you grow. If you don't grow, you can't be distributing poverty. So you need to grow to create jobs. You need to grow to be able to lift people above poverty line. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, you can only grow with technology. You can only grow with design. And you can only grow with innovation. And that has to be India's key objective. Design and innovate to find solutions to India's problems. And when you do that, you'll find solutions to the next 7.5 billion people of the world. And therefore, I'm particularly delighted that Economic Times has taken this very unique initiative to launch the Indian Innovation Award, because innovation is not driven by government. It's driven by the private sector. Government can at best be a great catalyst. It can put the building block, which it has tried to do. But the big innovation will all come from all of you. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, to my mind, these are unique awards. Those who receive these awards will truly be the key driver of India's growth process. And they are the ones who are going to take India into the next century. And therefore, I take this opportunity of congratulating Economic Times on this very, very unique initiative. I congratulate all the award winners. And more than anything else, I congratulate SAP and BCG for supporting this event, because both of them are highly innovative companies. They are truly very, very unique and innovative companies. So I have great pleasure in being here, and I'm delighted to have delivered this speech. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, sir, for your words. May I please request you to join us on the stage for a panel discussion you'll be part of. Talking about living in promising times, thank you so much for all the value addition you did here for this evening, sir. May I also now request for the panel why India needs innovation and how companies can drive more of it. The following panelists to please kindly join us on stage. Harsh Mariwala from Marico, could you have a round of applause? Santrupt Mishra from Aditya Birla Group. Janmejaya Sinha from BCG India. And Varun Khaitan from Urban Clap. Loud round of applause for our panelists. And moderating this wonderful panel is our own Samita Sharma from the Economic Times. Loud round of applause for her as well, please.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. Thank you, gentlemen. So I'm going to dive into what we're discussing today, why India needs innovation and how companies can sort of drive it more than what we're doing right now. I'll get into the private sector because that's where Mr. Kant, I'm going to take it as a segue and get into the discussion. Mr. Mariwala and Mr. Mishra, both of you represent large companies. I want you to come in and talk a bit about what exactly are large companies in India doing, because there is this sense that legacy companies aren't very nimble. There is a lot of sunk cost which you have to take care of while innovating. Mr. Mariwala, would you get in? And you also run Marico Innovation Lab and a foundation. How do you grapple with that, being a large company, being nimble, and innovate at the same time?
Am I audible? Yeah, thank you. So are you asking me about my company or asking me about Indian companies?
I think both are kind of interchangeable.
I think I can talk more about my company and not so much about an Indian company because
Sure.
I think innovation has got almost on top of the agenda of all the CEOs globally now because they've realized that in a highly competitive environment, you have to be different, you have to be innovative, you have to be pioneering. And unless you do that, you will not succeed. It's very difficult to succeed in a Me Too kind of business, and the business has to innovate on a perpetual basis. So it's just not when you start, but on a perpetual basis, how can you be 2 steps ahead of others? Is the biggest challenge. And I'll talk a little bit about culture of innovation, because to me, organizations need to create a culture of innovation where everybody thinks innovation and not just the R&D lab or some people at the top. So I think it's very important for organizations to understand how innovations can happen on a perpetual basis. I would say that, first of all, there has to be a high degree of openness. The talent pool has to be diverse because diversity leads to different viewpoints. I'm not just talking of male, female, gender diversity, I'm talking beyond that in terms of geographical diversity, in terms of educational backgrounds and things like that. So I think diversity and quality of talent is the starting point. But after doing that, you need to have a culture which is very open, which is very collaborative, which is trusting, where dialogues take place, because if I get an idea, I have to talk to 10 other people, and then that's how the idea develops. And once that idea develops, then you need to prototype that idea. So how do you prototype, how do you experiment is another challenge. And after experimenting and prototyping, then you need to scale it up. But that doesn't mean that you will always succeed. There will be failures. So the organizations have to be open for failures. If somebody takes some risk in launching or doing something innovative, and if it doesn't succeed, and if the organization punishes that person in terms of not giving the right increment or the right promotion which that person was deserving, then everybody will stop taking risks. So how do you take risk and how do you view failures is very, very important. So if failures are punished, then innovation will just, risk-taking will just vanish.
Sure. In fact, Mr. Mishra and I were discussing, how you kind of make sure that you empower people to take risk, and that culture seeps, lower down as well. I mean, it should not be only in the top management. That's really critical. The other thing is, taking from his point on, innovation and the culture of innovation, how do you make sure that, in a large company, I am empowered enough to take those decisions, and it doesn't happen that, if the top management and the CEO is not in line, my voice is heard. I think that's really important, right?
First of all, thank you for having me here. I agree with what Harsh said on many aspects. So usually large companies are a good punching bag, good exercise point. But if you can see as large an organization like Government of India could innovate so much, I think it would be kind of misplaced to believe that large corporations are neither nimble or cannot be nimble. I think there are hundreds of examples of how we have been. The very fact that my colleagues from Ultratech have been shortlisted for your awards itself is an example that a large company, I don't know whether you win, guys, but I wish you win. But there are many examples that we have been nimble. I'll give you a couple of examples. We run something called Reprism once every 2 years. We ran it in 2017, inviting the bottommost organization of our manufacturing to come and present what kind of innovations they have done. We received 1,148 entries, the bottommost organization. Now, if you ask them the question that, how did you think of this idea, who supported you, they would look at you saying, what do you mean by supported us? It's our job, it's part of us, we do it. So I think similarly, I remember 17, 18 years ago, we ran a competition in the organization called Oh, Not So Smart. And the idea was that people were invited to write, what are the smart, not so smart things we are doing? What could be a smarter alternative? And why do they think it's a smarter alternative? And I remember some 17, 18 years ago, we received 365 entries telling us what kind of not so smart things we were doing, what could be a smarter alternative. Now, the moment you ask a junior employee to say, please write to us what is not so smart a thing we are doing, you have empowered them. Because our poet laureate Rabindranath taught us two principles of cultural change, where the mind is without fear and where the world is not broken up into narrow fragments. So if you can collapse the division between businesses, functions, and encourage people to be fearless, I think innovation automatically happens.
I'll just get Mr. Kant. You spoke a lot about, government being a facilitator and the real onus sort of lies on the private sector to innovate. There is a sense that while the government has facilitated a lot of, the entire startup India, etc., there have been a lot of policy changes. And if you speak to a lot of founders, then Varun can come in on that once we hear from you. A lot of the time is spent in navigating through, changing regulations, policies, and we've seen a bunch of them happen over the last few months. And the actual time that you should be spending on innovating is spent on navigating and trying to sort of maneuver through the changes. How do you deal with it as a young company, as a startup?
So, one of the key things that was done was to digitize government departments across the board. And, the whole objective was that government must become easy and simple. And we've spent a lot of time on just trying to make government easy and simple, get human intervention away. And that's the main reason why India jumped up 65 positions in the World Bank Ease of Doing Business. More than that, many of the people here do business with the states. And therefore, we started ranking states. And the first year we did it, Gujarat came number 1. Second year, Andhra beat Gujarat. The third year, Telangana beat both Andhra and Gujarat. But the good thing was that the eastern part of India, Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand, did very well. And they came 4th and 5th. And my view is that if the eastern part of India starts becoming easy and simple, then, and that's the mineral-rich part of India, India will do very well. So we've put a lot of pressure on both states. We've tried to bring in a lot of consistency and predictability of policies. Once in a while, some department does it. Something happens, like the angel tax issue. But the government was very responsive. I mean, the government interacted, found a unique solution. All unique solutions were found. We sorted out the angel tax issues. So I'm quite pretty sure that this is a responsive government which will find solutions wherever there are challenges. And one of the biggest innovations, let me tell you, that's happening across India, is what we are driving at Niti Aayog, and that is starting tinkering labs in schools. Through Atal Innovation Mission, the first innovation we did was that we didn't have any government officer driving it. We took a person from Tata Consultancy Service on secondment to drive it. Secondly, what we did was, we've got used to the Anglo-Saxon system of education, study books, get into the next class, study books, so we become prisoners of books rather than of innovation. We started 3,000 tinkering labs in India, and we are doing 10,000 tinkering labs where we are providing robots, 3D printers, Internet of Things, all from class 6 onwards. And the kind of innovative culture that we are creating is unparalleled. And we did this competition between a school run in IIT Delhi, between a school run in a public school and a school run in slums. And we posed challenges to them. And the students from the slum came out the winners in them. So I'm saying that you open the opportunity, the students of India from all the backward regions of India will become innovators of tomorrow for India. And we have great mentors. We have great mentors all from the private sector. We put about 3,000 mentors from the private sector to mentor these young students.
No, I'm not doubting the intention. Varun, what do you think? I mean, as a startup entrepreneur, and you're the sort of sole representative here. There has been a lot of appreciation of the government, in terms of, whether it was Startup India, Stand Up India, etc., all these programs. How much of that has really benefited you to sort of innovate? And you are really fast-paced. I mean, you are nimble. You don't suffer from the things that a typical legacy company would. Do you think it's been a facilitator, policies and the government at large in India?
I think I would say the overall policies to encourage entrepreneurship, whether it is Startup India or Make in India, have definitely created large-scale support and interest for entrepreneurship, for startups, have provided both capital and I would say more importantly made it okay for large-scale college graduates, young professionals to be part of startups and younger companies. So I would say that's a very welcome change and support from the government. When we talk about policies, I would say I have, in the last 2-3 years, worked closely with a few departments, both on e-commerce policy and when GST was laid out, then there were some specific implications for our services industry. And on each occasion, I positively found the government very, very open, receptive to discussion, to changing laws, bylaws, adding things which might have been omitted earlier because, large-scale laws covering all industries in the country are initially formed in broad strokes. And then you go deeper into specific industries and sub-industries, take opinions of people, and then you get into more detail. So I've actually found different departments very approachable for us to go and put forth our point, and the other way around as well, actively involving
So you're saying
companies.
there's been a dialogue. The dialogue is, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Dialogue as well as active change, like multiple changes that we proposed to the DIPP, to the Finance Ministry, have actually very swiftly been incorporated in the matter of under a month.
Mr. Sinha, we were discussing earlier that innovation now is intersecting with disruption, and a lot of it just happens to be in technology. Is that what you're seeing? And if so, why is it that despite the fact that large companies do vouch for innovation, we don't really see on any top global innovator list many Indian companies feature there? I mean, what's the reason? Is it because it's so skewed towards technology and we don't have too many large companies in the tech space yet? I mean, they're still fledgling.
Look, I think we need to distinguish a few things. We need to distinguish between what is reached at a certain tipping point and is also sexy and also has a high market cap. So if you really look at it, there were a set of companies which used to lose $1 billion a year and their market cap used to go up by $1 billion. And that was being funded.
Amazon.
No, I mean Tesla, you can look at all these companies which were losing a lot of money and their market cap was going up and they were continuously being funded. Now the fact is, innovation as a term can be misleading. I saw Ipsita walk in. So Star has innovated with Kabaddi. It's a sport. It was not there. It's innovation, right? I mean, it's a league that's been created. If you look at what Varun is doing, he's taking an unorganized sector and organizing it. That's disruption, right? There will be, I don't know, in the Birla Group, there will be hundreds of innovations. How disruptive they are is what we are looking at, right? The two areas where we are not doing so well is in digitization and machine learning. We are still doing a little bit of a copycat. So if you look at Silicon Valley, you look at Israel, you look at China, they are actually, if you want to go for cyber defense, if you needed to go and get the best people, you'd go to Israel. If you want to see what you are doing with machine learning, And the kind of things that Mr. Amitabh Kant was talking about, mobility, the future of mobility. If you go to Silicon Valley, you'll be blown away, you know. If you look at what WeChat is doing in China, it's of a different league than WhatsApp, right? I mean, it's a different league. So these two forces, digitization and machine learning, so anything that can be digitized will get digitized sooner or later. Any algorithm that can be used and is powerful will be used. But they are not yet being invented here. But there is a lot of innovation happening.
So, what is the next innovation that will come out of India? Is it going to be from non-tech spaces? Is it going to be innovation for development, like Mr. Kant was talking about, in those spheres? Where are we going to see it next? Mr. Mariwala?
I think you answered.
No, I mean, look, we can just say that the sectors that need innovation most and most urgently, from my perspective, are health, education, skilling. I mean, without a doubt, those are the three explosive points that we can't delay. And
I would add agriculture also, because there's a huge opportunity to improve productivity in agriculture, and I think we are still following not even innovation, just modernization, doing the right things, drip irrigation, you may call it better seeds. But there's huge opportunity to combine whatever innovations are happening to make agriculture far more productivity.
You obviously think, Mr. Kant, a lot of it will be machine learning and AI driven. Do you see India taking a forefront in those spaces?
No, to my mind, the biggest innovation you need is in social innovation. Education and health was mentioned.
Would that be a public-private sort of combined?
Yeah, in all these areas. I mean, look at education. Our learning outcomes are extremely poor. They're pathetic. Look at a country like ours growing at about 7.5%. Look at the nutrition level. The biggest innovation we need is in nutrition. 1 in 2 women in India is anemic. 1 in 3 child is stunted. 1 in 4 child is wasted. I mean, what do you need? You need technology to reach out. You need to track every single mother. You need to track every single pregnant and lactating mother. You need to track every single child. You need to track every single fortified food in India to do this. You can't crack the problem of India without private sector. You can't crack the problem of India without innovation. You can't crack the problem of India without technology.
So, are we saying that the private sector has not done enough till now?
No.
Or has not pushed the boundaries?
No. India's done a lot. But we must realize that in India's case, size and scale is critical. And that's important to get. Without size and scale, it'll be very difficult. Why has India succeeded in some cases? Because we got the size and scale right. Mobile telephony, what did we do right? We got it right because we got the size and scale. What did we do right in biometrics? We got the size and scale right. You can't do innovation on mobility if you are not able to build large-scale size and demand. And therefore, we need to ensure, in India, 75% of the vehicles are two-wheelers. They generate 33% of the CO2 pollution. What we need to crack now is some innovator who's able to electrify combustion vehicles, retrofit, and crack the innovation in the two-wheelers market. And that will be the biggest market if we are able to put batteries and do the battery manufacturing for two-wheelers in India. That will be the biggest market.
Mr. Mishra, you want to jump in?
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in because it would be very unfair if somebody doesn't speak about the large industry, that you're speaking about. Let's understand two things. Historically, India has been an asset-intensive business model, not knowledge asset, but physical asset. A lot of the time, given that we had a weak IPR regime, when a lot of innovation happened within physical assets, people tried to keep that to themselves as a competitive advantage rather than share it. The whole concept of shared innovation, open innovation, collaborative innovation, which are domain of more knowledge assets, are rather late entrants into India. So you got to understand that in the evolution of an economy and the society, there come those points when you leapfrog and you learn to do it more and more as is demonstrated. So it is not that within the confines of physical assets of India, or the old large companies or whatever, they're not innovation, they're not happening. But I think the weak IPR regime historical in India has kept many of the large businesses rather cagey about what they have done within their own confines. Otherwise, do understand that despite the liberalization in this country, many of the large businesses have not only survived, they have grown phenomenally. And Indian companies have grown globally also to be competitive. That all would not have been possible if inherently there was no DNA of innovation within those companies.
Look, I will say one thing, that there is one area in our, we can be positive or we can be negative. Dalai Lama says, choose to be optimistic, it feels better. But in feeling better, we should not miss this one thing that India needs to fix, otherwise it will not be able to grow, and that is energy sustainability. And we are not there yet. And if we can't fix it, we will fail. So we need to really understand that that's a big binding constraint, and we will need to think of what we do with the discoms and what kind of energy sources we unlock to meet the needs of a 7% growing India.
So I don't have too much time. Varun, I want to get you in on innovation for growth and value creation. I mean, startups are really, in terms of wealth creation, value creation, etc., they are at the forefront. How do you look at innovation as a fast-growing, sort of nimble company, and how do you prioritize what to do over 10 other things? Because it's ever-changing for you, right? So how do you make sure that you grow and you innovate and you create wealth and sort of value for your stakeholders?
Yeah, I think balancing innovation with scale or with the scaling journey is, I think, a very difficult thing that a startup has to go through. So I can talk a little bit from my own experience, how we've dealt with that. Every startup starts with a core innovation which is being used to solve a very large problem. And the first sort of phase goes into really cracking that core innovation, which is often called as product market fit. Like you found something which catches on to the market, which people want. And maybe you get to the first few thousand users, 100,000 users. That's when you call it product market fit. From there, you want to take your company to tens of millions of users, and it's going to take a few years. How do you go from 100,000 users to a few million users and chart out that journey? I think it's a balancing act between scaling what you know is working and at regular phases, disrupting your own structure and innovating more and more. Maybe I'll illustrate through an example how we did this. So Urban Clap is India's largest at-home services company. One of our large service businesses is at-home beauty for women. And our core disruption there started with saying we will provide beauty services at home, and we will provide them with beauticians who will be self-entrepreneurs and not employees. Because we said if India has to grow industries 10x, we can't grow physical salons. We need to provide services at home. And when we said we have to scale an at-home business where people are going to leave their jobs and become micro-entrepreneurs, and we have to provide quality at scale. So we have to train thousands and thousands of beauticians to provide the same service across all the cities of India. Now that was already too much to chew. And we said, let's just focus on providing a starting set of services. So we, of all the beauty services that can be provided, we chose with only doing basic skin services. Sure. And we said, we'll first nail all skin services for the first 2-3 years.
Sure.
And as we were doing that, there were lots of new ideas. Our customers said, why don't you provide hair services as well? We said, we will, but in the future. They said, why do you only provide us 2 brands of facials? Why not 10 other brands? We said, we will do that in the future.
I'm really running out of time
we
now. Sorry, I'm butting in.
Yeah.
But last thoughts, 5 seconds each, everyone, on are we doing enough as a country, as a sector, on innovation? I have 10 seconds. So
Well, in a large country like India, enough would never be enough, so we got to just keep on doing more and more.
Mr. Kant?
Well, I think the most important thing is that parents and peer group must start accepting failures. You can't be an innovative society till, as a society, we don't accept that people are going to fail once, they'll fail twice, but they'll succeed the third time, and value that.
Mr. Mariwala?
I think there is no choice. We have to innovate if we have to grow faster, if there is so much youth coming into the job market and such a large population, there are great opportunities. So it is imperative that we innovate not only in businesses but in social sectors also.
Look, I feel that there are three very hopeful signs. One, that smart people are becoming entrepreneurs and starting startups. Capital is becoming increasingly available. There is an ecosystem developing, and we need, the highest level of, infrastructure support for them to flourish. But I think they are there. How quickly they ramp up, we'll see.
Thank you, gentlemen. We're totally out of time, so I'm going to wrap up, and we'll proceed with the evening. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, and thank you, Samvitha, as well. Could we have another round of applause for them as they go back to their seats, please? And also, if you are talking about this evening on social media, please use our hashtag ET Innovation Awards, as you can see at the top there. I'd like to now request Dilip Kumar Khandelwal, President, SAP, HANA Enterprise Cloud, and Managing Director, SAP Labs India, to please come on stage and share with us a few words.
First of all, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Amitabh, for a very nice speech. I think you can't get a better thing on innovation than what he speaks from his heart. Let me take 3 points for you before we go into the crutch of the evening, which is giving awards to the people. And I come from the technology background, so I just want to tell you from the 3 things what we see, what is happening, and why this innovation is key, and why we are collaborating with Economic Times as such to make this as an important part of growing India. The first thing what we are seeing is we see more and more that economy is being driven by outcomes. When I mean by saying it's going towards an economy which is very, very outcome-based. I tell you one simple example. When I work in a product company for 20 years, so I used to be very, very happy when I used to release a product. And I used to don't care. I have released a product and I don't care then what happens after that, and then you just leave it to the end consumer to see and consume what happens there. Over a period of time, you started moving towards from product to providing them the solutions. And then you became a little bit more broader, saying, okay, I have 3 products, but in the end, I would like to give you a solution which helps you to solve a particular problem. And I think that also was working for a certain amount of time. But with the speed and the scale of technology, what is happening, I think we are going more and more towards where the end consumer is expecting that he gets an outcome immediately. So he's going for anything which is just resulting in an outcome immediately. And I'll tell you a simple example. I like going to movies. When I go to a movies, I, of course, go there, spend money upfront, and then go for a movie, and then for 3 hours I see the movie, and then I realize that the movie was not good. Then you see, okay, was it worth going there? Or you go into an outcome base where you say, okay, you don't get any money which is paid. You go and see the movie, and you pay actually based on the amount of happiness it brings to you or the laughter it brings to you. And that's what I mean by just becoming an outcome. And this can be reflected in all kinds of business model which we're going. That's the first thing which is happening. The second thing which is happening is, I think the consumer is getting more and more powerful. I think people realize it in all fields. I think that's the reason why we see a lot of young startups which are coming in, because they're actually targeting the actual core of the problem, which is not solved by a lot of companies which were existing in the past. That's why it is extremely important that keeping the end consumer, not really the customer, I'm telling you the individual end consumer in mind, its habits, its working styles, and all those things is extremely key when you design a product. That's the second thing which is happening. And third thing, which I'm actually considering myself very lucky, is I come from a technology background, and I'm telling you, everyone will be disrupted, everyone. And guys who are going to disrupt is via technology. It's not going to be people, it's going to be technology which is going to be disrupting it. And a simple example is I think because of the technology, we work in an ERP space. 5 years, 10 years back, if we used to always say our competitor is an ERP competitor. Or an automobile company used to say, okay, their competitor is an automobile company which is competing with each other, or whatever it is. Now it's not the case. Every company is expanding their horizon, and they actually overlap into some other territory. Who would have imagined that the biggest sports company on earth is becoming a digital platform for the health? Who would have imagined? Who would have imagined that the biggest social media company will become the biggest media company without owning a content of their own? They're not creating the content of their own. So I think everybody is expanding their horizon, intersecting, and that's where it is the beautiful products are coming out of India. I think there is no other country on earth which has that potential, if you look at all those aspects of creating those innovations and creating the beautiful business model and creating the impact for this country. That is one of the reasons why we felt that it is extremely important that innovation is on the agenda of the people. Innovation is the agenda of everyone in this country. That's why we said it's the best platform that we tie up with Economic Times in a closer way, start this initiative of really recognizing the innovative companies or innovative ideas which can create the next generation for India. So I would like to thank Economic Times, all the jury members, all the people who have come here, all the attendees, for just taking the time out and appreciating the topic of innovations and really creating an impact for India. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dilip, for those words. I'm sure we have the best to follow suit as well now in terms of nominees and winners for the award. But just a quick question, are we being the best audience for this evening? Well, only your energy levels could speak for itself. So let's have a quick energy meter check right now to see how you can applaud on a higher level. Give me a level 5 of an applause, please. That's level 5. Can I hear a 6 then? 7. I'm going to skip 8, 9. And a level 10. You've all been recorded by our cameras from the Economic Times. You've got to maintain the same level now. All right. With that said, I guess we're all energized. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Economic Times Innovation Awards seek to identify and reward innovation across business models, processes, products, and technology. We're looking at innovations that have hit the market and made an impact, and not just ideas at the drawing board stage. The awards aim to identify and celebrate the best modern innovation around us and hold them up as examples of what can be dreamt of and achieved. To start with the first set of awards, may I request Harsh Goenka to come onto the stage, please. Welcome, sir. Well, the first category of awards is product innovation, and the nominees are Bajaj Allianz General Insurance Company. The company's individual cyber-safe insurance policy offers protection against any form of cybercrime. Saregama India, Carva, a simple radio that also comes preloaded with a range of melodies from the 1950s to 1990s. Wipro GE Healthcare, its Revolution ACT scanner comes at a 40% lesser cost compared to other alternatives in the market. So, without further ado, the winner is Saregama Carva. I request Vikram Mehra, MD and CEO of Saregama India, to come onto the stage and receive the award, please. Congratulations, Vikram. Would you like to say a few words? Would you want to say a few words?
I keep on hearing innovation and technology going hand in hand. I'm a very, very strong believer. Technology may be the means, but if you want to drive innovation, I think anthropology is more important. You need to go back and understand your customer. Technology may help you doing that, but please don't mistake the two things. Anthropology wins over technology any day. Thank you.
Congratulations once again. Well, the next award is for service innovation, and the nominees are Bheem UPI. This mobile payment app developed by NPCI has revolutionized the payments landscape in India due to its simplicity. Bharat Petroleum Corporation, its Project Nishchay aims to increase revenue from non-fuel offerings. Kotak Mahindra Bank, the first bank to utilize WhatsApp Enterprise solution to offer a range of banking services and answer queries. Any guesses as to who the winner is? Well, the winner is Bheem UPI. I would request Dilip Asbe, MD and CEO of National Payments Corporation of India, to come onto stage and receive the award, please. Let's keep the applauses coming at level 10. So I guess they'll let their work do all the talking. Great, congratulations again. And the next award is for process innovation. The nominees for this category are Cyril Amarchand Mangaldas, first legal firm in India to adopt application of artificial intelligence tools, best practices, and process redesigns. HDFC Bank, its introduction of robotic process automation for repetitive tasks and deployment of bots for such tasks reduce manual intervention. Renew Power, the company deployed high-precision wind sensors and algorithms to predict wind direction, resulting in higher efficiency of power generation. Ladies and gentlemen, and the winner is Renew Power. I request Suman Sinha, Chairman and Managing Director of Renew Power, to come onto stage to receive the honor, please. Congratulations, Suman. Would you like to dedicate this award to somebody?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the Economic Times for giving us this award. I think it's testimony to the quality of our team that has been working with us now for so many years. And I'd like to acknowledge some of them who are sitting there. The team led by Balram Mehta, who heads up our wind business, Anil Gagwani, who heads up the asset management area, and Varun Shivram, who's our Chief Technology Officer. I think they've all worked together as a team to help us win this award. I think I really would like to echo the words that Amitabh ji talked about earlier. I think we're on the cusp of a massive energy transition. There is a huge change that is going to happen in the way we generate and consume energy. And I'm really pleased that our company is really at the forefront of a lot of that change that is happening in the country right now. And we really hope to play an instrumental part in making this change happen. I think this is a once-in-a-generation, once-in-a-lifetime kind of opportunity, and it's extremely exciting for us to be part of it. And I'm really hoping that with the team that we have, we can continue to innovate and provide new technology-based solutions to a lot of the disruptive challenges that we're facing right now. Thank you, Economic Times.
Thank you, Sumant, and congratulations once again. And thank you to Mr. Goenka as well for doing the honors, sir. Well, I hope you've been also sounding out to your friends and family about the Economic Times Innovation Awards using the hashtag ET Innovation Awards for this evening. If you're not doing so already, request you to please do so. Well, for the next few categories, may I request Mr. Harsh Marwala to please kindly come and join us on stage to do the honors, please. Welcome back again, sir. The next award is for Marketing and Brand Innovation, and the nominees for this category are SEAT Tyres created relevant brand differentiation through its media campaigns focusing on road safety. Mahindra Life Spaces, its unique idea of gift wrapping, a 25-story building for buyers, resulted in increased inquiries in the subsequent phases of the project. Tata Power Club Energy, or TPCE, the company's resource conservation club comprising young students, focuses on bringing about a first-hand realization of the energy crisis. And the winner, ladies and gentlemen, is SEAT Tyres. I would request Mr. Anant Goenka, Managing Director of SEAT, to come onto the stage and receive the award, please. Louder round of applause. Congratulations, Anant. A quick word from you, perhaps, Anant? No? Few words? No?
Well, we were inspired by our campaign because really there's a death on Indian roads every 4 minutes. It's a serious cause of concern, and our purpose is to make mobility safer and smarter every day in SEAT. So that's really what keeps us inspired in terms of communicating what our product serves on a regular basis. And I think I'd like to accept this really on behalf of our marketing team. Thank you.
Congratulations again to the entire team at SEAT. Well, the next award is for Business Model Innovation, and the nominees for this category are JK Tyres. JK Mobility Solution allows large customers to pay per kilometer instead of requiring them to buy tires upfront. Revigo. This logistics startup has revolutionized the trucking business with its global first driver relay model. Voltas. It introduced digitized IoT services delivery solutions for predictive maintenance, wherein it remotely detects service needs for equipments. And the winner, ladies and gentlemen, is Revigo. I'd like to request Deepak Garg, founder and CEO of Revigo, to come onto stage and receive the award, please. Congratulations, Deepak. Quick few words from you.
Thank you, Economic Times, for this prestigious award. A lot has been said this evening about innovation. One of the things we say internally at Revigo about innovation is that innovation has to solve for the human drudgery. The job of human life, as we say, is to celebrate life. And all the drudgery should be automated or innovated around. And this is what we have begun to do. With truck drivers of the nation. Our mission is to make logistics human. We believe every truck driver, we should be able to bring every truck driver home to his family through this driver relay model. Today, we are solving for the lives of 5,000 truck drivers. We call them as pilots. But we believe there will be a time that millions of these pilots will come back to their homes every day through all the innovations and technology we are bringing in the trucking sector. Thank you so much for this award again.
Well, congratulations once again. Please enjoy the rest of the evening. The next award is for Innovation in Inclusive Growth, and the nominees for this category are First Step Digital. Its offering P-Buddy, India's first female urinating device, offers a ray of hope for in a country plagued with poor sanitation. Janajal. Its IoT-based water ATM provides water at rupees 5 per litre. Philips Innovation Campus. Its mobile obstetrics monitoring solution aims to overcome the challenges related to maternal mortality. And ladies and gentlemen, the winner in this category is First Step Digital. I would request the Bajaj founder of First Step Digital to receive the award, please. Somewhere in the middle. Congratulations, Deep. Yes, a few words, please.
Well, thank you, Economic Times. I think my team will be very, very happy today. Thanks to every customer who's helped us. When I thought of Peabody in 2013, I was told that women in India would never stand in P. We've sold about 1 million units so far. So thank you so much, everyone, and we hope to keep the innovation going. Thanks a lot.
Congratulations to the entire team. And a big round of applause for Mr. Mariwala as well for having done the honors. Well, now for the final awards, may I request Mr. Amitabh Kant to join us on stage, please. Welcome back, sir. Well, the next award is for innovation to drive sustainability, and the nominees for this category are Dalmia Cement offers Dalmia Infragreen, a kind of early strength, high performance cement which enables facilities to be opened in 3 to 7 days instead of the normal 21 to 28 days. Rosary Biotech Limited. Its sustainable textile auxiliaries saves time, keeps the fabric light and smooth, and reduces dissolution of harmful compounds. Ultratech Cement. Ultratech Lightcorn, a lightweight concrete, reduces environmental footprint while providing same strength and superior performance. And the winner, ladies and gentlemen, is Ultratech Cement. I would request KK Maheshwari, Managing Director of Ultratech Cement, to come on the stage and receive the award, please. Okay, let me make a mention. Applauding is good karma. Acha karoge, acha paoge. Sir, a few words.
So, thank you very much, ET, for this recognition. Well, we have talked a lot about innovation, and obviously we all love to think about innovation as a very breakthrough idea, a eureka moment. We at Ultratech believe in innovation every day in everything that we do by trying to make sure that we do something better today than what you have done it yesterday. And obviously in that process, we do hope that we keep coming up with products and services to meet our customers' requirements better and more cost effectively. And I'm very proud of all my colleagues and want to compliment them for this wonderful new innovation which they've done, which contributes in converting waste to wealth, sir, and also the Swachh Bharat movement, as well as towards the movement towards achieving the sustainability development goals to which the country is committed. So thank you very much.
Congratulations, sir. Please enjoy the rest of the evening. Sir, please kindly stay back on stage. The next award is for the most innovative startup, and the nominees for this category are Swiggy, the fastest to reach unicorn status. This food delivery startup is racing ahead. Udaan, a pure-play online horizontal marketplace on which manufacturers and wholesalers can sell their products to retailers, has a seller base in over 80 cities and delivers to more than 500 cities. Urban Clap. This home services startup has gained immense popularity since its launch in 2014 and has become the one-stop destination for hiring handymen to beauticians, to yoga trainers, and even home tutors. And the winner, ladies and gentlemen, is Urban Clap. I'd like to request Varun Khaitan, co-founder and CEO of Urban Clap, to receive the award, please. Congratulations, Varun. A few words from you.
I'd like to thank the jury for this special recognition. We started Urban Clap back in 2014, and back then we were told we were looking at a very old and boring industry, and what was a startup doing in the world of plumbing and beauty and yoga training. But we saw in there a huge opportunity. We saw in our country that there are more than 20 million individuals who are engaged in different service professions. And all these individuals today are only making between 10 to 15,000 rupees a month because they're working for different companies. And we saw therein an opportunity to transform this entire service industry, eliminate these middlemen companies, and make these individual professionals into micro-entrepreneurs. And fast forward 5 years, we have more than 25,000 of these individuals on our platform who are making every month more than 40,000 rupees per month, 4 times more than what they were making before. These are simple women, beauticians, spa therapists, plumbers, AC technicians, many of whom, if you book them on our platform, will come to your home in their own car, which they have bought from the money that they have saved on the platform. So I accept this on behalf of all these tens of thousands of people who've taken the risk to stand on their own feet and become entrepreneurs. And this encouragement is for us to keep going forward and change this 25,000 into 1 million over the next 3 years. That's 1 million new jobs created for India. Cheers to that.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, the next award is for the most innovative mid-sized company. And the nominees for this category are Paytm. It's no news that the Paytm wallet has been the biggest driver of the cashless economy in India. And now, with the Paytm Payments Bank and the Paytm Mall, the company is expanding its wings. PVR. It has used many new technologies to make the cinema viewing experience better. Zomato. The company's recently launched Zomato Gold, a paid service allowing customers to get complimentary food and drinks from partner restaurants. And the winner, ladies and gentlemen, is PVR. I would request Chandresh Daftari of PVR to come on stage and receive the award, please.
On behalf of entire PVR family, I would like to thank the jury members. Many thanks to Economic Times to have conferred this award to PVR. We believe that innovation is at the core of PVR's DNA. We strongly believe that in today's day and age, you have to stay relevant, you have to constantly innovate. Thank you.
Congratulations, Chandresh and team from PVR on receiving this award. The next award, ladies and gentlemen, is for the most innovative large company. And the nominees in this category are HDFC Bank. Has been on an innovation spree with HDFC Bank on Chat, HDFC Bug Fixer, robotic process automation, and a host of other offerings to enhance customer experience. Hindustan Unilever. The company recently relaunched sustainable versions of Rin, bar and powder with a smart foam technology that saves up to half the amount of water. Reliance Geo. Geo has completely revolutionized the telecom industry with the introduction of 4G LTE technology by making calls and data cheaper. The winner is Reliance Geo Infocom. I would request Sunil Dutt, President Reliance Geo Infocom, to receive the honor, please. A few words from you.
First of all, thank you, Economic Times, and thank you, jury, for choosing us for this award. We heard in the beginning about certain challenges that the country faces, which Mr. Amitabh Kant was talking about. And at the same time, we also heard from him about some of the very young people who are innovating, who are the entrepreneurs of the future. And I think the common theme that runs is being able to facilitate these people. And at the same time, we also heard from you, sir, about the children from the slum schools who came out winners in certain aspects. So I think in that sense, there is a huge amount of innovative spirit which exists in this country. It's about one of the challenges, I think, which we didn't speak about was connecting the billion-plus people to the rest of the world. And I think at Geo, our constant endeavor behind anything that we do or behind all the innovation that we bring about is towards trying to connect all these billion-plus people to the rest of the world, not just amongst themselves, so that they are able to then come out with all the kinds of innovations and the initiatives that we heard from the panel and we heard from you, Mr. Kant. So I think I would dedicate the award to all the consumers who believed in us and believing in us by the millions every month. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sunil, and congratulations once again. And thank you, Mr. Amitabh Kant. Thank you, sir, for doing the honors. Please, could we have you remain on stage for a couple of minutes more, sir? Perhaps maybe for, so I can call out the winners to come on the stage for a photo op, please, along with Mr. Kant. Could we have the winners on stage for a photo op, please? Perhaps get a little closer. Well, many congratulations to all the winners and the nominees as well. A big round of applause to each and every one of you as well inside this hall. And a big thank you to our sponsor, SAP. A loud round of applause to SAP as well. Our knowledge partner, BCG. All the jury members as well. And once again, of course, to you. Could we have a round of applause go for each and every one of you? Please join us for cocktails and dinner and have a beautiful year ahead. Thank you for joining us this evening.